'Twas the run-up to Christmas, and, lo and behold, thousands of folks trudging out in the cold, their hands and feet frozen, the snow in their eyes, as they scrambled to get to the last few mince pies. The slow and infirm were trampled in the scuffle to get to the last box of cheap Belgian truffles, while countless poor souls were lost in the fight for a bottle of plonk to toast Christmas night. Suddenly, the crowd spun around with a yell, and they charged all at once like a pack out of hell. They bashed and they battered, they pushed and they shoved, for word had got out, M&S sale on gloves. "My granny would love 'em! Forget her, they're mine! Let me through, oi, back of the line!" From my vantage point, by a display of toys, I witnessed the horror with my very own eyes. As each shopper vied for a place in the queue, a little old lady hobbled into view. I cried out a warning, but alas she heard not, and was trampled to naught but a small greasy spot. Now dashing and darting, now punching and kicking, biting and gouging, ear poking, eye flicking, I saw one woman wield a small boy like a club, and I watched as the poor lad started to blub, so 'twas a mercy when she swung with such might that he slipped from her hands and flew out of sight. He was found, safe and sound, some 13 days later, in a display of cardigans near the escalator. Well, without her weapon, she was soon overcome and by a tag-teaming granny and stay-at-home mum. With a Zimmer frame shot to the side of the head and a kick to the ribs, they left her for dead. They fought tooth and nail over jackets and sweaters to answer the wishes of loved ones' Christmas letters, and while in the background, the Christmas Muzak plays, the same track repeated for 20-odd days. Son against daughter, father against mother, they beat 7 jingle bells out of each other, charging through the store like stampeding cattle, and soon the shop Santa was drawn into the battle. He leapt from his stage with a blood-curdling yell, and upon the crowd of naughty shop-goers he fell. He had such broad shoulders, with arms like 2 trees, and a right hook which would bring a Clydesdale to its knees. A fearsome sight in his suit of bright red, he hoisted one old dear right over his head, and with a dark chuckle brought her down through a stack of cut-price DVDs, snapping her back. At this sickening crunch the shoppers took pause, such was the wrath of this store Santa Claus. "You've all been naughty, and now you're on my list." You could tell without doubt that Kris Kringle was pissed. And so, boys and girls, the moral of our story is to be kind to others or face an ending most gory. And I heard Santa roar as I ran for my life, "Sod this! Next year I'll stay home with my wife." Merry Christmas, everybody.